Hello everyone! Thank you very much for watching. I think I got my video or my audio working today, so I apologize. Yesterday my audio was not working. I had one little button. There's lots of buttons on my on my system, and I didn't have the audio button on. It was on mute the whole time. So I'm going to redo that video, and I will send it. I'll re-upload that later today or tomorrow for everybody. So sorry about that, but thanks for watching me. Just just watching my face. But today we're talking about a question. I have some notes here that I was writing down last night. The question of how much money should I be spending in real estate? So I get that question a lot, especially with new agents, but just wondering how much money they're spending or should be spending in their personal marketing, in their branding, in their on their listings, and of course, this is all. A lot of this is individual of how much you want to invest in your business. But I'm going to give you some ideas of what you should be spending it on, and give you some little percentages, ideas of where to spend it, and where you should be focusing your time and your money on things. So there's basically three things I'm going to be talking about a little bit today. Is percentages of where you should be spending your money. 2 is marketing your listings, and 3, marketing and investing in your database. So those kind of 3 things I kind of target on today on that. So first, percentage-wise of where you should be spending your money, and I see a lot of it in not doing a shotgun approach to advertising. So a lot of agents spend a lot of time, and I see this, on just trying to brand themselves, which is great. They have their logo, their team logo, this, that, and then just getting their name out there to people. And I see ads in papers and magazines, and I see even some Facebook ads and things like that from agents. But you really should spend about 90% of your money, if you're going to have an advertising budget, on direct response marketing. Things that people that who they are, where they're at, and you're going to get a response from them. Example: some agents say, "Well, hey, I want to send out mailers, certain time of year, maybe holiday cards, birthday cards." Something about their business, a newsletter. I'll just concentrate on mailing and sending things out. If you're going to do that, you need to make sure you have the phone numbers to all those people, or it's not really a great investment just to start sending thousands and thousands of postcards out there. Example, Facebook ads. Just sending out Facebook ads, you've got to learn how and find out where you're targeting people. If you're targeting, like, farming an area, you could kind of farm an area with your Facebook ads. Is it certain demographics, city, area? Where are you bringing that down to making sure you're getting a response from some of these people? Example, free market analysis, information about your community, information about the housing market in your city or in your neighborhood. You should be asking people in your marketing, if you're doing some type of Facebook marketing or social networking marketing, spending money on dollars, sending these ads out, you have to ask for some type of response, some type of call to action to connect with you, so you could give them something of value for free. And again, usually that's a market analysis of their home, information on the real estate market in their community, things like that of value with that. So those, I'm just giving you a couple of ideas on that. And then when you're talking about the direct response marketing, you can invest in, if you want, Zillow leads, Realtor.com, Homes.com. Some agents do get a good response from those spending that money on advertising there. I really don't promote that much because you have plenty to do with building, and some of the things I'm going to talk about, building your database and spending time and money on people that know you, than some people just off the internet. But if you do have a budget and you want to try it, and there's agents that are very successful at it, those are direct response. You're paying for leads from a source, Realtor.com, Zillow, but you have to make sure you're getting the rate of return on those. So usually they sign you up for a 6-month trial. They'll give you a zip code and an area, and they'll give you not the demographics, but the percentages of how many people are. If you spend this much money, you should be getting about this much leads. Obviously, it's working for agents, and there's agents that are very successful at it because they're spending the money on there. So you can look at that, but watch and track your rate of investment on that. But that's another good place to start with if you have an advertising budget. Other thing I say is I tell agents, when they ask how much money should I spend in advertising, especially if you're new, I say don't spend it. This might be different than a lot of other brokers, owners, and people in real estate. Don't spend it until you have it. You could get real estate business right now without spending a nickel to get it. You can, or advertise yourself. There's the phone, there's text message, there's emails, there's door knocking, there's many places you go. And then when you get a commission check, I tell every agent how much of that commission check can you set aside for your marketing budget, to market yourself, to get more listings, to get your name out there, to connect with your database. So every single commission check that you get should be some of that reinvested in your business. So I tell every agent, never spend money until you have it. And when you have it, you know you could take out a cut of that and set it aside. Instead of that commission check being $6,000, pretend it was $5,000 and put $1,000 aside. And next time that commission check comes in, because you've had checks that are $3,000 and $2,000, pretend that $4,000 commission check is only $3,000 or $3,500. Put some money aside for your business. You have to gain capital. You have to have some in savings. When you're a business, there's no business out there that's going to be successful that every month or every time they get business that comes into their business, a restaurant, any type of store or anything, that they're going to spend all the money that just came in. That just you won't be successful. You won't have the money to pay for things. Just regular staying in business things, not let alone trying to advance and build your business. So start setting some money aside. So don't take it out of your savings, your personal savings. Don't take it out. Go borrow money. Don't put it on your credit card. Wait to your next check and start building an advertising and marketing budget. 2, I'm going to talk about advertising your listings. Please, your listings. You've got a lot of agents are forgetting this. I see this. Even some successful agents that are doing well, I see this. They're selling houses so quickly, they're not even spending the time to use those listings as a way to generate more business. Example, when getting into real estate almost 30 years ago, a staple of our business was just listed postcards and sending them out to an area. We used to have a crisscross directory of people's phone numbers and their addresses, so we sent out just listed postcards. We'd pick up the phone the next day when we know they got them and start calling them. You could go door knocking. So when you have a listing, there's a couple things you can do. Number 1, you can do a great video about that listing. The day you list it, tell your sellers you're going to do a video, and you're going to send that video you could invest some money and send it and make it a Facebook ad about that listing and send it out to a certain demographic or in that city, in that area, and see the responses there and see the views and see the response you get from people in that area. You can send a a mailer or a just listed postcard out with the URL address or link to watch that video, so people could go online and see that and see what you do. You could go door knocking, you can make calls. There's different things you can do, but you should definitely spend some money and time doing all of that and finding all of that information and getting that information there. So that's a little bit of money on some of that, not a lot, but you have to follow it up with phone calls, door knocking, responding to see who's liking your videos, responding to people that make comments or click on your link. Facebook will show you how many people are clicking on your ad, so you've got to respond to these people and make sure you're tracking all of that. But you're using your listings. Your listings should give you business. Some agents I suggest to is, I know with COVID it's a little bit harder now, but list a property on Friday, have an open house on Sunday, don't start accepting offers until Monday or next week, and let your advertising and your marketing of your listing get out there to the public and see what comes out from it. So many agents say, I sold it in one day. I'm like, you don't even know if there was another buyer out there for your listing that would have paid more than that, because they just didn't see your marketing yet. They didn't see it online. They didn't see your mailer. I have these calls. I have these calls several times a year. Said my seller's upset at me because we took an offer the first day. They were happy with it. And then one of their neighbors came to their house 5 days later and was very upset with them, I mean in a nice way sometimes, and said, my brother or sister-in-law, I would have bought, they wanted to buy your house, they wanted to move near us, they would have definitely paid more. And then they blame the agent, you, for not knowing that. You wouldn't have known that, but if you let your marketing sit there, kind of ferment and get out there, and you would really see what else is out there. But it does happen. We have 8 sellers that get upset because the house sells so fast because they were happy because they got the price they wanted, but didn't realize that they could have got more, or sold it to a friend of a friend, or one of their neighbors' friends, and they're upset, like, oh, I'm so upset, I didn't know, my agent, we got the offer first day. So I know I'm going off tangent there, but it's really kind of a pet peeve of mine with how fast listings are selling, and they're not required to, or don't need to. And you sometimes, the first response I get from my agents when I ask them, why did you sell it so fast? My sellers wanted to, because you didn't explain it to them that there could be a little bit better, and especially when there's limited inventory. Unless that buyer could go buy a house 2 doors down, the exact same house, exact same price, and you might miss out on that buyer, I think that buyer will sit for 2 or 3 days, my opinion. So again, disclaimer, my opinion on those listings. So, all right, back to marketing and advertising. Last today, there's many other ways. I just want to talk about your database. Your database is something a couple things that you could spend money on building your database and connecting with your database and being in front of them. So, of course, social media is one of connecting with all the people that are in your database. That takes some time. But your database you should be connecting with either through calls, texts, door knocking, email campaign, social network, a minimum of 24 times a year. Again, they're not getting 24 calls a year from you. You're not calling them twice a month, but they've got to be getting something from you or see you, or through an email, through a postcard, through a holiday card, through a call, a text, something. You got to come up with a program. And a lot of agents ask me, well, how big should my database be? Well, if you're contacting your database 24 times or more, or in different ways a year, you should be converting about 5%, minimum of 5% into sales of that database. So if you have 100 people in your database, good people, people that you are calling, texting, sending mailers to, sending holiday cards to, door knocking when you can, things like that, holiday gifts, whatever. If you have 100 people, you'll get 5 transactions a year. Now, most people think a database is just, oh, I got 2,000 people in my database. These are people that I emailed to. They're in an email campaign. They're not, I'm not calling them all the time. I don't really know who they are. They don't really know who I am, but they've heard my name or something like that. Your databases has to be someone you've had, or your core database should be people that you have at least once a year, have a quality conversation with them about your services and what you're doing, and you're asking for referrals. Minimum of, it should be more often than once a year. You get them on the phone, or you communicate with them. Direct response communication, not just I sent them stuff and they didn't respond. So if 100 people, 5 transactions a year. 200 people, 10 transactions a year. So and 300 people, 15. So you got to figure out, and I tell this to all new agents, you got to figure out what your database should be for how many sales you want and how to communicate with them, and spend some money. So spend some money on an email campaign system. If you don't have one through your office already, Century 21, we have great email campaign systems that are included that are free, or some agents use other ones like Constant Contact or BombBomb or other things like that. You have to have a mailing system, mail things to people, postcards, information, at least holiday cards, something, and you could use different systems like that. Century 21 HomeStar agents, we have a whole online post office. If you didn't know that, it's right in our brand center. You could even create your own flyers or brochures or postcards, or they're already pre-made ones that you could upload a few things and send out and upload it your database of addresses, and it will mail them out for you. Or there's other systems out there that you can use on that. So also with Facebook, you could upload your whole database to Facebook. I know I'm not an expert at this, so I can't teach you on this, but I know there's on there. It's gotten a little bit different in the years. There's ways for when you set up an ad to upload your database and send it really just to your database, or people like your database. Like they'll connect with where they live, or who they are, and age range, and how the demographics, how Facebook does it. Don't know, but it's there. So that's another way. So spend some money on building your database. Spend some of that marketing dollars on connecting with them and sending them things. But you have to follow up with phone calls and try to have a quality conversation with them. So if you're spending a lot of money on mailers and emails, and spending a lot of time on things that are not connecting with them and not having conversations with them, you have to change that around a little bit. You got to spend the money to get those general things to them, but you got to spend the time to connect with them and ask for referrals, and get to know them, and know that they're still there, and there's someone that wants to be in your database and still wants your information sent to them. So that's some ideas there. So today I just wanted to give you a little bit of idea of what you should be spending, or what, percentage wise of return on database. I really wanted to stress a little bit, and I did, I think, on listings and using them to generate more business and selling a listing. Another thing, just my opinion on listings, because I'm really stuck on that. I don't know, I spent the last few weeks with how fast our listings are selling, is sold signs. They're not required to put a sold sign on a house. I would say a sold sign, as soon as you put a sold sign up too early, it stops the calls. Now your prospecting calls stop. So my suggestion, I would put a sold sign when it actually sells and transfers. I wouldn't put a sold sign up on that too early. That stops the calls. Also, a lot of people don't realize that we do put a contingent and or pending in the MLS, but you could still show the house. That legally, you could still show the house. You could still accept backup offers on the house. So sometimes I have agents still having open houses on houses that are pending, that are contingent. You're allowed to do that. You can do that. But talk to your broker, talk to your manager, talk to your office if you're not a Century 21 HomeStar agent. talk to your office about their rules and policies. Because really their office's listing, your broker's listing, is really what they and their policies are. So check with them first before you do it. Do anything outside what you normally do with your listings first. So I want to get that out there too. So that's it for today. Thank you very much. But there's a lot more to talk about in this. So if you want to talk one-on-one with me, reach out to me directly. I'm happy to talk with you and set some time aside. I talk to agents all the time about setting a budget and how much they should budget and where they are personally in their finances and things, because you got to go more in detail about what you can do personally as a family, as a individual. You got to look at your whole finances too. So, but always will be more time than money gets you more business. So that's it for today. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow, high noon tomorrow on Wednesday. Bye-bye, everyone.